Brunswick Bowling presents the 2016 Thanksgiving Turkey Shootout. Live on tape from Brunswick Zone Roswell in Roswell, Georgia. It's our annual fall classic where we bowl for turkeys, literally. Our junior program is divided into two leagues. The varsity is comprised mostly of our 13 through 19-year-olds, and the junior varsity is our younger group, the 12 and unders. The bowlers in our junior program who elected to enter the Thanksgiving Turkey Shootout bowled their normal 3-game set during league. Their qualifying score in the Turkey Shootout was comprised of their high 2 games of the league session plus their 2-game handicap. Entrants in each league were then ranked based on their qualifying scores, and the top 4 players in each league qualified for the stepladder finals. The 8 players were randomly paired with a player from the other age group, and their combined qualifying scores determined their seeding for the stepladder. The results of the qualifying round went as follows. In the varsity division, Kara finished 9th, Brandon and Christian tied for 7th, Mikey was 6th, Charles was 5th, just missing out on the stepladder by a single pin. In the 4th position and qualifying for the stepladder was Nolan. Joseph was 3rd, Logan 2nd, and Daniel 1st. In the junior varsity, Jonathan finished 7th and Andrew 6th. Juwan, last year's winner in the JV division, finished 5th, missing the stepladder finals by just 6 pins. Spares, kids. In 4th place, advancing to the stepladder finals was Jake. Will was 3rd, Rudra 2nd, and his older brother Trishul qualified 1st. So here are the seedings going into the stepladder finals. In the 4th position is the team of Nolan from the varsity and Trishul of the junior varsity. They will bowl in the first match against the number 3 seeded team of Joseph from the varsity and Jake from the junior varsity. The winner of that match will advance to bowl the number 2 seeded team of Logan from the varsity and Will from the junior varsity. And the winner of that match will go on to bowl for the grand prize against the number 1 seeded pairing of Daniel from the varsity and Rudra from the JV. They're bowling today on our normal house shot, Kegel's recreation pattern known as Stone Street, a 10-to-1 ratio with a heavy buildup of oil in the center of the lane. The bowlers with higher averages have a huge advantage on a pattern like this and can really light it up. The format of our stepladder is alternate shot, with the players taking turns throwing the first ball in each frame. Our junior varsity players will throw the first ball in the odd-numbered frames, and our varsity players will be throwing the first ball in the even-numbered frames. They're bowling for turkeys. That's right. First prize for both players on the team is a big, giant, honkin' frozen butterball turkey. The second prize is a somewhat smaller frozen butterball turkey. Third prize is a little frozen butterball turkey roast. And 4th prize is a tiny little Cornish hen. So with that explanation out of the way, let's meet the players in our first match. Nolan is making his 2nd appearance on the Prodigy Bowlers Tour webcast series, having won a spot in the Bowlapalooza Ball Demo Day back in October. He's 15 and carries a league average of 167. Nolan's young teammate is Trishul, who's bowling in his first league this season. Trishul is 10 and is presently carrying a league average of 104. They're bowling against Joseph and Jake. Joseph is 13 and in the last year has seen some rapid improvement in his scores. He's now averaging 156. His partner Jake was one of our turkey winners last year. Jake is 10 and carries an average of 95.
The winner of this game goes on to bowl the number 2 seed. So shake hands.
And here we go, as the competitors get their instructions to shake hands and come out fighting, or come out bowling anyway. And we'll get this party started with Jake throwing the first ball of the match on the left lane. Jake plays a pretty straight shot. He's throwing a plastic ball. And he leaves his partner, Joseph, the baby split. But Joseph picks it up, no problem. And they're off and running. Now Trishul on the right lane. And a good ball to start. Trishul throws a house ball, so he's got plastic in his hands. Tell you what, a reactive ball might have carried that strike.
You could have left him the one spare.
Here's Nolan for the spare.
He got it. All right, way to go.
And both teams get off to a quick start.
And then if he leaves anything, you shoot it.
Now they take turns throwing the first ball in the frame. So Trishul threw the first ball in the first frame, so Nolan will throw the first ball in the second frame. That's how it works. And Nolan leaves for Trishul, the same spare that Trishul left for Nolan.
Now let's see if you can
So
make a
we'll
10-pin.
find out if Trishul can make a 10-pin. He's got the right equipment in his hand to do it. Look at this. No problem. Good sportsmanship. Getting a high five from the other guys. Here's Joseph in the second frame. And he gets a Brooklyn strike. Now you'll notice on the score sheet, a spare and a strike does not normally equal 29 in the first frame, but Joseph and Jake have a 9-pin handicap differential working in their favor, so we add that extra score in on the first frame. Jake leaves the 1-2-9 for Joseph to pick up. Joseph and Jake are getting 53 pins handicap. Nolan and Trishul 44. So we just add the 9-pin differential in on the first frame as Joseph runs by the spare and gets 8 out. So here's Trishul to begin the third frame for his team. And that one comes up just a little high, and he leaves the 4-7, but he's right around the pocket. Nolan stretching out to go for the 4-7 and gets it. So with the handicap differential already added in, we can track by just following the score exactly how many pins separates these two teams. And at the moment, Nolan and Trishul have a 2-pin advantage. Nolan up in the fourth frame. And that one comes up a little high, and he'll lose 2 pins in count in the process. And now the match is tied again. As Trishul will go for the spare. Look out. He pulled it. So they are open in the fourth. I suspect we will have some open frames today, as some of our juniors with the highest averages in the league failed to make the step ladder today. So we're going to get to see some kids that don't usually appear in our challenge matches that you've seen in this series. As Joseph leaves the 5-8-10, and the 5 topples as it is replaced on the lane by the pin setter. So we will have to wait, as there will be a stoppage as we will have to ask them to reset the 5-pin. So they call it to the guys in the back. They're usually pretty quick about this. If a pin falls as a result of the machine touching it, it has to be reset. That's the rule. So usually an extra pin falling, you would go, well, that's a good idea. We like that. But actually this time the 5-pin going down makes this a little more difficult. So I'm sure he'd rather shoot the 5-8-10 than the 8-10. But it really doesn't matter because the rules don't allow you to accept that extra pin fall anyway. So here we see the guy down there resetting the 5-pin. The light should come back on here in a second. And there it is. And now we're ready to see Jake take a shot at the 5-8-10. See what he can do with it. It's a little wide. So they are open. And this match is tied once again. 63 apiece through 4 frames. All right, Joseph led off in the 4th, so Jake will lead off in the 5th. This is going to be a little wide. Catches a bit of the 3-pin, so he gets some pretty good mixing action and leaves for Joseph the 1-2 sleeper 8. Joseph takes no time and converts the spare. That's kind of Joseph's MO. He just gets up there and goes. So here's Trishul in the 5th. Once again, he's right there in the pocket. But that lighter plastic ball doesn't have quite enough drive to push the 5 over into the 7, and he leaves a swishing 7-pin. Here's Nolan for the spare. And it gets away. So they have an open frame. 72 through 5. So now at the moment they fall behind by 11. Back-to-back opens are never helpful. See what Nolan can do to bounce back. Well, that's a pretty good bounce back right there. Right in the pocket. And here's Joseph. If you blink, you'll miss him. Just a little high, leaves a solid 4-pin. And now Jake will go for the spare. Cross lane at it and gets it. As you can hear, we have quite a little gallery on hand to watch the festivities. Jake in the 7th frame. Uh-oh. Well, he pulled that one, and he has left some work for his partner Joseph. But I know that Joseph can do this. And he gets a wall shot and saves the frame. They do lose some count, but he gets the spare. Trischel through the nose and leaves the baby split for Nolan. And Nolan's been pretty good on spares. He missed that last one, but he has been solid. And there you go. And we're tied again. The handicaps were determined, by the way. We took each player's handicap, we added them together, and then divided by 2. So their handicaps are basically the total of the 2 players cut in half, because each player is only bowling half a game, theoretically. And there's a wall shot for Nolan. So we are seeing a few strikes among these players. Joseph on the right lane. Doesn't quite drive through enough to carry the 5, but he leaves Jake a simple spare. Come on, Jake. Right in the middle of the lane. Uh-oh. Well, he just didn't get around that one a little bit. He just needed it to hook just slightly, but he plays a pretty straight ball. That one just started a little farther right than he wanted it. All right. He can make amends right here with a good ball in the 9th. This one drifts a little too far to the right, but he leaves Joseph a very easy spare, the 1-2. Joseph giving him some words of encouragement. We talked to these kids about the big kids being mentors to the little kids. They hardly ever get to bowl together. There's a spare for Joseph. Yeah, I've been looking for an opportunity to put the older kids and the younger kids together. I just think it's a great opportunity for the little ones to see what it's going to be like when they get into the bigger league. And I think it's important for the big kids to act as mentors and role models for these little kids. So here's Nolan for the 5 and a spare. So Nolan and Trischel take a 12-pin lead into the 10th frame. Let's see what they can do with it. Joseph and Jake can strike out for 170. So that's the number Nolan and Trischel need to get to shut him out. Nolan puts one right in the pocket and strikes.
It's the 10th frame.
So it comes down to this. Nolan and Trischel need 9 pins on the next 2 balls. And Nolan threw the first ball in the 10th. It'll be Trischel that will throw the second ball in the 10th. And then Nolan will throw the third ball in the 10th. They need 9 on these next 2 balls to lock up the win. There's 8 of them. Nolan needs to just get one of these, and it is lights out. And there it is.
That's a winner right there.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Joseph and Jake will finish it out anyway. Joseph gets the the nosedive strike. See if Jake can follow suit here. Well, they have got that lane wired. All right. So one more for 170. It won't be enough, but it'll be a close finish. And he gets 9, so they will finish 169. Nolan and Trishul with a 3-pin victory. They will move on to the second match against our number 2 seeded team in the stepladder. It was a close one.
It's a strike. Bowling's fun, and AMF is the secret. AMF automatic pin spotters, a true quality AMF ball, and sure-footed AMF bowling shoes add up to the perfect combination. And remember, superbly made AMF bags carry bowling ball and shoes the best. Get AMF balls, bags, and shoes from the man who knows your game, your bowling proprietor.
So Nolan and Trishul get past Joseph and Jake by the narrowest of margins. And now they take on the number 2 seeded team of Logan and Will. Viewers of this webcast series are well familiar with Logan by now. He's one of our junior program's best young bowlers. At 13 years of age, he's a regular participant in area junior gold qualifiers and has won his share. Logan carries a league average of 196. His junior varsity partner is Will, a two-hander who will be aging into the varsity next year. But right now, Will is 12. He also made the trip to junior gold last year and is currently carrying a league average of 132. Will has huge upside potential as he gets bigger and stronger. So our competitors are shaking hands, and we're just about ready to go, waiting for Logan to get here. He's got a couple of hands to shake, and then we're going to be ready to go. All right, here is Will to start things off. That certainly could have struck. Comes up just a little bit light. He leaves a 7-pin. I'm a little bit surprised here. Logan usually grabs his plastic ball to shoot these, but he takes his strike ball for this and hooks it at the 7-pin. But no problem. And now Trishul will throw the first ball for his team on the right lane. And another ball in the pocket for Trishul that just doesn't quite have enough drive to carry out the strike. But he leaves a 7-pin, easy spare for Nolan. Oh, well, maybe not that easy. All right, and once again, we draw your attention to the score sheet. Nolan and Trishul get a 44-pin handicap. Logan and Will get 20 pins. That's a 24-pin handicap differential that works in the favor of Nolan and Trishul. And we've basically added those 24 pins into their score in the first frame. And Logan posts a strike in the second, although he wasn't up. I think he did not get the memo that we were bowling PBA-style match play, where each team will bowl 2 frames at a time. So we're having a word with him to clear that up. Here's Nolan in the second. And that one drifts a little bit high. He leaves the 3-6 for Trishel. That's got a hook. And that plastic ball is not going to hook quite that much. So Nolan and Trishel open in their first 2 frames. So that 24-pin handicap advantage may quickly disappear. Now, because Logan bowled out of turn, we'll keep his strike posted in the second, but now Will bowl the 3rd frame on the left, and that'll put us back in sync. A little explanation here for them. And Will's pretty nonplussed by the whole thing. He just throws a solid pocket strike. And there's a double. All right, Trishel up in the 3rd frame. Trishel and his younger brother, Rudra, who you will see in the next match. I saw them bowling open play during a junior gold qualifier some months ago, and I went up to their mom. I said, you know, these two could be pretty good in a few years with a little coaching. They've got some real potential. And persuaded them to join our league, and we are delighted to have them. Nolan for the spare. And now Nolan will get up and throw that first ball in the 4th frame for his team. Nolan's one of those kids in our varsity that's kind of one of those that I think of as sort of the next in line. He's still got a little catching up to do to catch the top players average-wise, but he's sort of at that next tier. And he can throw a lot of balls like that, and that's why I'm optimistic about his future. Hard not to be optimistic about this guy's future. Logan, who's got plenty of game. Working on a double. And lets that one rip for our first turkey of the day. There will be no league bowling on Thanksgiving weekend, so our next webcast will be the first weekend in December. Or at least that's when we'll be recording. We'll have the video up for you soon after that. Will goes Brooklyn in the 5th. The string of strikes ends. But now Logan with a simple spare, the 5-pin. No problem there. Logan and Will have a pretty good little game going here. Nolan and Trishel are going to have to get on it. Trishel's done his part. He's been in the pocket just about every time. Oh, no. Well, not that time.
All right, come on, Nolan.
That's pretty uncharacteristic of him. He's usually pretty steady. Let's see if Nolan can clean this up. Chance. How about that? Well, because they were working on a strike, they don't lose any count. That was as good as 9 spare. So that keeps them in the match. Logan and Will with that turkey have moved out in front, but the lead is 17 at the moment. That spare that Nolan just made, that was huge. tries to put a strike up behind it and gets a wiggle on the 7, but it will not go. So it will be up to Trishul to spare this. And look out, and well, it bounces out of the gutter, but that will not count. That one hooked into the moat, and when the ball rolls into the gutter, it is dead. So if it bounces out and knocks down any pins, you don't get to count them. So they are open in the 6th. And Logan is up to start out the 6th frame for his team. Ball finishes just a touch late. And he leaves a 10-pin for his partner Will to shoot. Will has had problems with 10 pins in the past. He has a little problem with that one as well, so they're open. So the lead is still 17. See if Will can bounce back. Any questions? Can't throw it any better than that. All right, Trishul, back on it here. Oh, man, a stone 7. How do you get a stone 7 with a lightweight plastic ball? My, my, my. How many 7 pins is that he's left? It's got to be about 3 so far, I think. Nolan covers it up. All right, well, they're going to have to get some strikes on the board. I've got a feeling Logan and Will are not going to back up. Not on a house shot. Those of you who have watched some of our webcasts in the past, we're usually bowling on sport patterns, but this week, because we were bowling with the little kids, we decided to just go ahead and leave the house shot up for this. Right in the pocket, but it doesn't quite carry out the 10, so Trishul will have to come on to go for the spare, and they desperately need this. And it just goes a little too wide, so an open frame in the 8th, and now it starts to look dim for Nolan and Trishul, but you never know. Here's Logan up in the 8th. Well, that's a Logan strike right there, and a double for the team. See if Will can put up a turkey. No. We'll call that no. Not a turkey. That is a super washout. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. There's 2 ways to shoot this. You can go between the 1 and the 2 and try to knock the 1 into the 6 and 10, or you can hit the right side of the head pin, try to deflect it into the 6-10, and I'm not sure which way he was trying. He hit the head pin pretty squarely, and that is 7 out. Well, now that changes the complexion of things. Trishul can just get a ball to carry here for him. If he can get this to carry all 10, no! 9 and a wiggle and another 7-pin. Look at the string of 9s for them in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. They also had 9 in the 1st and 3rd. My goodness, what this game could have been. A spare by Nolan. And now they need a big finish here. Logan and Will going at a 196 pace. Nolan and Trishul, if they strike out, would shoot 188. That would force Logan and Will to mark. But unfortunately, they are not going to strike out. And now, with that 7 count, the best they can shoot now is 175. Logan and Will already at 176, so it's lights out here as Trishul goes for the 245 and converts, but it's what we call out of the wood now. They can't get there. So Nolan will just heave one down the lane, and well, he just throws it in the gutter. I'm not sure why, but I think that was just a resignation to the fact that they couldn't win. So they finished with a 165. It wouldn't have mattered if he'd struck. It wouldn't have been enough. Logan and Will finish out, and they are going on to the championship match. And that one comes in awfully high, and he trips out the 4, 7, and the 10. And now his partner Will throw the second ball on the 10.
He will throw the second ball on the 10. You threw the first ball, he'll throw the second ball. He'll throw the third.
Still trying to keep track of who's up, who's on first. It's Will. If he can throw a strike here, they can shoot in the 200s. Oh, goodness gracious. Stone 8. Well, with the spare, they will finish with 196. And there it is, 196. And they are moving on to face Daniel and Rudra. As we move into the championship match, let's meet our #1 seeded doubles team, a pair of left-handers. Daniel is making his second appearance on the Prodigy Bowlers Tour webcast, having participated in the Survivor Series of matches last week. And while he made a quick exit, he has shown a good deal of potential in this, his first season bowling with us. At 14, Daniel is carrying a league average of 122, so his handicap helped him reach the finals today, and he has no place to go but up. Daniel's partner in this championship match is the smallest player in our field today. Rudra, or Rudy as we sometimes call him, is just 7 years of age. And like his big brother Trishul, who you saw earlier, Rudy is a two-hander. Bowling in his first league season, Rudra is carrying an average of 65. Now, how it would happen that when we drew the top 4 names from the junior varsity and the top 4 names from the varsity and randomly paired them together, we ended up putting the 2 left-handers together. It was just a stroke of luck, I guess, or just complete happenstance, but that's how it worked out. We've got 2 lefties, and here is little Rudra. Catches just a piece of the head pin and leaves the 2-4-8 for Daniel. And look out. No! He gets him to go. It's not how, it's how many. That is a spare the hard way.
And the rest of the way, you'll start on the right and then go on the left. You'll bowl 2 frames at a time from here on.
All right, Will starting things off for him and Logan. And this one leaves a 10 pin. We've got some pretty serious handicap going on in this game. Logan and Will spotting Daniel and Rudra quite a few pins. A spare for Logan. Rudy's handicap is 94. Daniel's handicap is 70. You cut those in half, you get 82. Meanwhile, Logan and Will get 20. So there is a 62 pin differential. That Daniel and Rudra will benefit from this game. 62 pins. That's a lot to make up in one game. And as you can see, we add that 62 in to their score in the very first frame. So they have 79 in the first frame, something you don't always see in bowling. As Rudra's attempt at the spare sails wide, so they are open in the second. And now Rudra will have the honors to start out the third frame. I think I counted 8 steps that time. And that ball hooks off the lane, so Daniel's got his work cut out for him now. If it'll get up. Almost got the spare. Leaves the 10 for 9 out. And here's Will on the right lane. And a weak 10. Logan will take his spare ball at this. He stands a little farther to the right than I would like for him to for these corner pins, but he sure does make most of them. Clean through 3 for Logan and Will. Logan and his father have worked so hard on his game. I love his pre-shot routine. And I love that shot too. We call that high flush, where I come from.
Daniel moved up to the Atlanta area to bowl with us this year. They were in the southern part of the state. So this is not his first rodeo as far as bowling in junior leagues, but we haven't really had a chance to work with him much just yet. Here's little Rudy going for the spare. Will it hook a little? Yes! So they maintain a 35-pin lead at the moment. Starts this one down the center of the lane. It's going to hook a little bit. And he gets 4. Leaving Daniel a pretty hefty spare here. Just like shooting a strike. And he gets it. Daniel's got some natural talent. He's just kind of raw right now. See if we can't smooth that out, help him out with his balance some. He's got a lot of good things to build on. Here's Will. He brings that one back all the way from Duluth. Logan, that super straight arm swing. Boy, that is a golden arm swing. He brings that one back from Duluth as well, but it leaves a ringing 10 and a wiggling 10 too. Wow. Well, Will missed that 10 pin earlier, but he's really been working on 10 pins lately. And it shows because we're starting to see him make more and more of them. That big roundhouse ball that he throws, he used to have a lot of problems with 10s, but he's starting to tame it down a little bit. Here's Daniel. And he leaves the 5-7. That ball was crossing over. And look at here, the 5-pin fell over once again. This is the second time we've seen that. Rudy was ready to go, but now he's going to have to wait. Here's a look again at what happened. The pin setter set them down again. The 5 toppled over. So reset it, and now he will go for it. Oh, how about this? Oh, that was so close. Well, now, hang on here, Daniel. It's Rudy that's going to go first this time. Daniel went first in the 6th frame, so now Ruder will lead off in the 7th frame. And he just doesn't quite get around that one. And it just heads off into the channel on the left. Let's see if Daniel can be the fireman and put out the blaze again. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. The double gutter, the dreaded double gutter. And with that, they surrender the lead. Well, that was an unexpected turnaround. And Will gets that light shaker to go. And that puts Logan and Will in the driver's seat now. And if Logan can catch a double right here, they will be off and running. This the championship match. Yes! Another light shaker, and he just nudges the 7-pin off the lane. So that gives them a 23-pin advantage now. And, oh, Daniel, no. No, no. Oh, my goodness. That's 3 zeros in a row, and that is never helpful. So, all right, come on, Rudy. Let's see you guys put a little run on here at the end of the game. Well, he gets 7, leaves the 2, 8, 10. So that's at least they get back on the board. But now they've got a mountain to climb. Not a lot of frames to climb it. Let's see. Can't give up. This one will get back. Okay. He leaves the 1, 3, 9. Set up the 10th frame here if he can make it. Okay. Daniel and Rudra projecting forward. If they strike 3 times in the 10th, we'll have 193. Logan and Will are on a 219 pace. But you never know. Leave a couple of difficult spares here at the end. This is the 2, 8 double wood. Logan's got to be careful with it. But that will just about wrap things up. Again, Daniel and Rudy can get to 193. Logan and Will are at 187 right now if they throw the next 2 balls in the gutter. And somehow I don't anticipate them doing that. And that is game, set, match right there. That puts them in the 200s. And Logan and Will claim the big honkin' frozen butterball turkey. Well, now, good thing that didn't come 1 ball sooner.
On the right.
All right, well, 217 with a spare here. That one goes through the nose and short counts. He gets 5 out. 212, it's enough. And now with the pressure off, Daniel throws the ball that we know he's capable of.
Come on, Rudy.
Rudra with 1 last ball to throw in this game. And this one is going to hook right and clip off the 10-pin. So his partner Daniel will have 1 last shot.
You at least got to get a couple. You don't want to get beat by.
And this is for a 183 if he can knock them all down. That's a good ball. That is just the way you'd want to do it. 183. So congratulations to Logan and Will.
Welcome
world's #1 bowler, Jason Belmonte, here to show you how bowling crushes it on a Saturday night.
C'est le Champs-Élysées and
Stuffy French restaurant.
peut-être un peu de l'eau pour toi.
Crushes it. Wow! Crowded bar. Noisy club.
Well, our championship match wasn't really that close, but Logan and Will take first prize with a 212-183 win. Here are the results of our stepladder finals. In match 1, Nolan and Trishul beat Joseph and Jake. Match 2, Logan and Will dismissed Nolan and Trishul. And in match 3, Logan and Will took the big turkey from Daniel and Rudy. Congratulations to all 8 of our winners. They all bowled great to get here. And thank you for watching the 2016 Thanksgiving Turkey Shootout.
Take a couple of stills too.
And Joseph, you gonna have to eat that, man.
Hold your bird out in front of you.